What's going on, everyone? It's another edition of the Superstars podcast. I am here with an all star himself, Mr. Tim Rock of the Rock House Realty Group. What's going on, Tim?
All good here. How you doing, Chad?
I'm good, man. It's been a while. I've been after you for a while. I've been DMing you like crazy. I'm like, I gotta get this guy on my show, man. I've been following you since the Bograd days, dude. You're,
Yeah, I
you're
appreciate it.
Yeah, you're a legend in and of itself. So I want to see what I can do to break you down a little bit. I try and ask as many questions as possible. But I appreciate you coming on so late, brother.
Yeah, not a problem at all, man. I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. So, all right, I have a lot to ask you. I do a bunch of research before I get on these things. So I try and pull a lot out of me. So let's start from scratch, man. Where are you from? Where do you hail from?
I mean, I grew up in Ronhurst, Northeast Philly,
Okay.
until probably about 10 years old. Then we moved up to Huntington Valley. I went to Lower Moreland for a bit. Eventually,
When'd you graduate?
I graduated in 96.
Lower Moreland?
No,
Where'd
no.
you graduate from?
I graduated from Northeast Prep.
What's up, Stace? Northeast Prep. Where is that?
It's on Cotman Ave, small little school.
Ah, all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I graduated from Lower Moreland.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. All right. Okay. Where in Lower Moreland were you? What neighborhood were you guys?
We were right on Byberry Road, right? Byberry and Pine.
Yeah, man. I grew up on Philmont Avenue.
Okay, yeah.
Small
Close.
world. Yeah,
It
man.
is.
So Northeast Prep. Now what is that? All boys? What kind of what's the give me the
I think
lowdown on
the prep gives it away, but no, it was makes it sound like it's something better than it was. But
that?
no, it was like a 2 year, in one type of school.
Jason, I don't like this format, bro. Can you change this up? I can't even see the comments. And they look like mini pop-ups at top. If you hear me, please change this. Anyway, um, so what about siblings? Give me that rundown. What's your family life like?
I mean, if you want to talk about my family, I'll talk about my personal family. I'm not going to
Whatever
talk about, you know.
whatever's most comfortable. I just like to get the backstory about brothers, sisters,
I
mom,
mean,
dad.
yeah, I mean, I have a few brothers, a sister, but
Yeah.
I
Are you
worry more about my unit, my house, my wife, my kids, my nephew.
got you. All right,
Yeah,
we'll skip that topic then.
yeah, it's all good.
All right, so you did Northeast Prep, then what? Do you have what was life like for you in high school? First of all, you're a good-looking guy, so were you an athlete? Like, what was your thing growing up?
Yeah, I mean, I did track in the younger years, played some
Yeah.
basketball for Lower Moreland,
Ah, all right.
but after that, I just kind of was a little wild and, hung out and I worked a lot, from, 15 years old, I was, selling jobs to people. I was doing jobs, construction, roofing, uh,
Ah.
so, I played a lot. I worked a lot, did a lot of different things.
Now, when you got into that stuff, the roofing and all that good stuff, is that where you got your first taste in sales?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, my family owned a roofing company, so
Ah,
I worked for them, and I learned sales then, and I used to go in people's houses, and they would look at me like I was a kid, but I knew what I was talking about. So I would
yeah.
literally sell them over the three, roofers that were there before me because I knew how to educate them and explain exactly what we're going to do and show them the value, and so it worked for me.
That's cool, man. And when you did that stuff, do you feel like you got an itch for the sales thing? Like, does that kind of lead into where you're at now?
I mean, I personally think like sales was in my blood. I mean, I just,
Yeah.
I know how to talk to people and I feel if you really love something or the product, it makes it that much, more easier to sell because,
Got you.
you know, you feel
Yeah,
good about it. You make
that's
people feel
valid.
good about it.
That's valid. Yeah, that's good. All
Yeah.
right. Anything else from those back in the days that you want to give us? Were you a DJ? Did you do anything cool? Any trips? Any good memories you could throw out at us?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say wasn't a DJ. Look, I went to raves. I had a good time. I
Yeah.
met my wife pretty young, which was good, and we had our first kid really young. I was
Uh huh.
21,
Uh huh.
first daughter. So So they
There's
were,
benefits to that, to having energy, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That's cool, man. And how long have you and your wife been together?
Uh, 99.
Ah, nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
And you're young, man. You guys are young.
yeah.
Are you in 40?
I'm 44, man.
Are
44.
you?
Yeah, I got
Damn.
5 kids.
You don't even look 40 to me, bro.
I appreciate that. I hear that a lot, but you got to take care of yourself, you know?
So, all right. So you're out there, you're 21, young. So talk about what I guess at that point you're like, all right, game on, time to take care of business. When do you what's the professional life like? Are you because I know you do the construction, right? You're a contractor.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I was still working for the family.
Uh-huh.
I was selling jobs, doing a lot of different carpentry and different roofing jobs. At one point, I hurt my back and I really couldn't do it. So I looked in the paper. I ended up seeing Gary Barbera's was
Ah,
hiring. So I stopped in there, and I don't know if you know Joe Donia, but
no.
a lot of people know him. But I walked in, we talked, and he's like, "All right, show up." And I ended up like killing it, selling like 35 cars my second month.
Damn.
The other salesman hated me because I would just take every customer that came in. Within 9 months, I was a manager, and then I was a finance manager, and it was good. I did that for about 2 years. Went into talk to one of the managers. He kind of gave me an attitude, and I took my nameplate and I said it was nice being here. Have a nice
Mm.
day, and I left. You know,
So talk about the car stuff. That's always interesting to me. So what gave you so much success in that, do you think?
just being willing to take the customer. I felt like most of the salesmen would judge somebody before they would even get out of their car. Like, "Oh, I'm not taking that one on." And I would already be down there because
Really?
there was no system. There wasn't an up system. It was you get down there, it's your customer.
Mm,
So they'd get mad. I'm selling 3 cars in a day, and they're standing there talking about it.
yeah.
So you I think people get relaxed. They get burned out,
Mhm.
obviously, and they start to judge. But you can't judge a book by its cover. You never know who's getting out of the car.
So Gary Barbera, I mean, obviously you don't have to go
Yeah,
into great depth, but what a big organization. A lot of local people would know. I mean, he's as big a name as any.
yeah.
So in that organization, I guess the other question, how often would you see him? Did he show up ever?
Not Gary as much. Gene.
Yeah,
Gene would be
Gene.
his brother.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. And then did they? So were you just thrown to the wolves? Like what was your? Did you have any teaching at all?
I mean, I got along with some of the managers, really good, and
Mm,
we would hang out. We would talk. They would throw me, look, if this happens, you do this, and it just it all stuck. And then if you know how to talk to people and you like cars, it's not not that hard, but it's knowing the numbers like anything else. If someone
mm,
says they want to be $200 a month, you don't show them the 30, 40, $50,000 car. You show them
mm,
the neon, or the
yeah.
cheapest car. And that was the hardest part for the salesman. They would like be like, "Oh, well, he wanted to drive this car. Well, can he afford it?" And
Yeah.
that was the cool thing. As a manager, you would go in and have to close the deal and somehow bring them back down to a different car.
That had to be interesting though, man. Come on. Like I know you're downplaying it, but you worked I mean, for people that don't know the area that well, in Philadelphia, I don't know numbers, but Gary Barbez is as big as they get when it comes to car dealers. So, I mean, when you're the manager, I can't even imagine like a busy Saturday, how many people you're seeing,
Oh, it
through
was crazy. I mean, we'd sell a
that.
lot of cars. I mean, he did a lot of volume, but look at his ads. I mean, his branding's huge, and he
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
a great job at it.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, it's funny, most of it's not even car related. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But you remember the name.
It's true. Well, and that's I guess that's part of the I mean, I'm always looking for the things that you're taking along the way and that probably have kind of built you into where you are now. So I guess from there, what are you taking from that experience? What are you getting out of that?
I mean, it's just you learn people, you read people, at the end of the day, you're trying to connect with people, no matter what you're doing, right? It's all about connection, whether it's real
Yeah,
estate, cars, construction. It's just about connecting with people, and again, knowing the product. And again, it doesn't
yeah,
matter what you're in. I feel
yeah,
like some people can be lazy and they don't, they don't put enough time into what matters.
yeah. That's true. That's valid. It's funny. Like the car buying experience overall, dude. I don't
Now
know,
you
bro.
can ask my wife if she likes going with me when we go to buy a car. It's my nephew will be like, "I want to get a new car. You want to go? Let's go." I mean, I've walked out. Deal's almost done. They start playing games. I'm like, I don't want the car. We're gone, and then they chase you out, and they're
Ugh,
giving you the house.
it's so painful, man.
It is, it is.
That-
But you got to think of it as like a game. It's
yeah, but I mean, look, we deal with higher ticket items,
yeah,
and
sure.
it's not that brutal.
Well, it's worse now because the market has been
What up,
crazy.
Ed? Oh, by the way,
How you
up
doing,
top in the
Ed?
corner, I can't even see Jason. I cannot see anybody on this thing. I feel like he and I are like struggling to fit into a little box. What is it? He's killing me with this format this week. He tried this new format, and I can't even see the comments. Anyway, Ed Rogers says hello.
What's up, Ed? How you doing, buddy?
But no, I mean, look, it's funny when I get into these conversations, especially in this show. I'm a sales geek. Like I like the art of it. It's part of what we do on a daily basis. I think it makes us who we are. To a certain extent. And I always say it to people. Sales as a whole has evolved into a true profession, especially with technology. Before it was totally. Linda says
Up,
hello. You
Linda? How
want
you doing, Linda?
Oh, you can see that? That's good.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on, you're
yeah.
killing me, Jay. You're killing me
Come
with
on,
this.
Jay. What are you doing?
But, I'm I know you're giving me the this and that, but there's stories in there you're not telling me, Tim, and I'm gonna get
Listen,
them out of you.
listen. I would tell you that the car business
Yeah.
is worse than the construction business when it comes to, I think there's more drugs in the car business than there is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
things I've seen and going on one of my first.
Well, give us what do we mean? That's my point. Tell me.
I'm
What is
telling you right now, give me
giving
a
me one?
chance here. But I go on one of my first test drives, and there's another salesman with me, and I won't mention his name,
Uh,
but he falls asleep in the van. And so now it's my first test ride. I'm in the back seat of a van, two people are driving, and he's sound asleep, passed out. You know, we get back, and sure enough, he wakes up and sells them the goddamn van. I mean, he was
oh my god.
excellent salesman, out of his mind, and obviously on some good shit. But that was the whole business. The people that got it seemed like the people that got the highest sold the most cars. I mean, besides me,
Wild.
but
Wild.
they were on like popcorn, man. It was crazy.
Wild, dude.
Uh,
Oh my god. Absolutely wild. And what
Shut up,
else?
Rick. Nah.
Yeah, that's come on. You got it. What else?
No beef here.
Especially in Northeast. So, do a lot of people come in with what was the limit? 9,999 in cash. What was it before you had to tell the IRS? I forget.
Yeah, yeah. It used to be 10 grand. You had to stay
Yeah.
under that number.
So you had a lot of brown baggers coming in with that too.
A few. And you're like, what are you doing, man? Come on. You can't do that.
Tell me what were the so and this is me I don't want to demystify the car business, but guys, a lot of the F&I guys or the managers, their goal is to upsell. So like it's like supersizing when you're, doing the french fries and the cola, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the extra money was made on those car warranties and
The
all
back
the
end.
insurance. Yeah, all of that stuff. So was that a lot of what you got into?
Towards the end, I became, they made me a finance manager. I'll be
Yeah,
honest with you, I hated it because as a
yeah,
salesman, again, you were like, if you sold cars, you were a superstar. You could do whatever you wanted. You could be like, I'm
yeah,
leaving, I'll be back, because the hours were long. It was 9 to 10 o'clock at night.
yeah.
So as a salesman, if you were good, they didn't bother you, did whatever you wanted. Plus, I got along with all the managers. Once they made you a manager, you had to be there, which was fine. You were able to walk around. As a finance manager, especially if you're the only one there, you're stuck in the box, man, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my god.
And
Anyway.
if somebody comes in at 9:30 and you close at 10, you might be there until 11:30, 12. So that was hell.
Oh, that's brutal, dude. I
Yeah,
can't even imagine. Oh
yeah,
god.
yeah, no good.
And there's a lot of tire kickers. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a tire kicker, and I'm a tire kicker mainly because I don't like getting ripped off. And the last
Yeah,
time I bought a car, it was 4.5 hours, bro. Four
yeah,
and a half hours. I did not bring my wife. I flat out told her, I'm like, it's gonna get ugly. I'm telling you right now. And I got what I wanted out of the deal, but man, it was brutal.
yeah. I mean, that's what it is. It's like pulling teeth. You got to put the work in, but you'll get the deal.
Do you know of anyone that's been like an actual like that has lasted like 20, 30 years in car sales? Anybody?
Yeah, I mean,
It would depend.
there's still a few guys out there that we that I worked with that are still in it. I mean, quite a few of my managers passed away as well that I worked with.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
it's a tough business, high
yeah.
stress, and a lot of hours.
And what kind of money can you make? Like, can like
I
just I have
mean,
no idea. Like, give me an
it
idea.
really depends. I mean, you
Yeah,
actually can make more as a salesman than as a manager.
yeah, that makes sense.
You know,
Yeah.
um, So I mean, you could do 10 to 15 a month
Can you?
easy, and some of I think some of the other dealerships, the high end dealerships, they can do more.
Yeah,
And I think this market, with all the dealer markups, I mean, you're starting to see it come down, but 20 grand over, 10 grand over,
yeah,
because you just can't get cars.
yeah, yeah. That's true. So those I never. It's funny. I never realized the hustle and bustle. So those guys can bring in a good 10, 15 grand a month. All
Yeah,
right, interesting,
yeah, it's not
interesting.
bad.
Yeah, that's not
But
bad
it's a
at
lot
all.
of hours, and you're like married to it. Saturdays are the busiest
Yeah,
day, so you can't miss a Saturday.
yeah.
So it's not for, I mean, in my opinion, I mean, there's a lot of people that do it and have families, but it's like you're just never there.
That's brutal. All right, let
Yeah.
me get you out of the car space. We
Let's
talked enough
go. Let's go.
about. So now that we're done with the cars, then what? You say "f you" to that guy that gave you the bad attitude. Then
So
what
at
happened?
that point, I
Yeah.
decided, I was going to open up my own business. And so at that point, I opened up my construction company,
Mhm.
which at first I said, I'm just going to do, I knew roofing, I knew, carpentry, but I said, I want to do something easy. I'm going to open up a gutter company. So I opened
Mhm.
up Platinum Gutters. Right. And so I bought this beautiful truck. I put a gutter machine in it. And, just running gutters. We're running gutters, in and out. You end up doing fascia, you do metal. So then from there, I'm like, we're going to start doing all exterior. So I'm doing roofing, siding. And, at the time we were living in a duplex right in Mayfair that I bought.
Hmm.
And I bought it from one of, the guys that I used to do a lot of work for. I went there to look at a job to do a roof for him. And I said, let me buy this place. And so I got a great deal on it. I rehabbed it. We lived in it
What year? When was that?
2000 and probably 2001 probably.
And when you say a great deal, like sub 100?
I paid 80 grand for it.
Oh,
Yeah. So I paid 80 grand for it. It was a 2+2.
oh.
Um,
You
you
still
know,
have it, I hope, right? You still have it?
no, actually, I sold it
Ah.
when the market went crazy.
Did you?
And, I sold it, ended up selling it for like 215. But I bought a house on Oakmont Street. As I was rehabbing that, one of my buddies was like, I want to buy that house. So I ended up selling that, and we moved up to Holland in oh oh 04, December of '04. We moved up to Holland.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So,
All right.
so I opened up the gutter business, and it just kind of evolved. I always did a couple flips a year,
Mm.
and it just evolved into what it is now, which is general construction, a lot of structural work, a lot of handicap work,
Hmm.
ADA compliant bathrooms, ramps, and all that good stuff.
All right. So you get into your own business. Um, and let's talk. This is where I love this is the meat for me, by the way, man. Business growth. This is the stuff I like. So you're starting with the gutters. You're seeing some success. Is it all word of mouth? How you getting the word? How you growing the business?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, back then you put ads in the yellow book, which cost you a fortune, for a
Yeah,
half page, full page, which I did. But most of the work, and even today, most of my work is referral based.
yeah. I mean, one of those ads, I mean, at least in your line of work, one job would cover it at least, no?
Yeah, back then, I want to say it was between 13 and 1,800 bucks a month for one of those. But
Ooh.
the problem is there's 50 other guys next to you. So,
Yeah.
you
Wow. I did
know,
not know it was that expensive.
yeah.
Wow.
So I kind of really built my business off of, just referrals.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're growing now. Would you start as a one-man person and grow, or do you have someone working with you out of the gate?
Yeah, because I had a helper, at first, but then quickly, I put people in place to where I was going out and just selling, and I would go to the jobs, I'd help them because, you know, you take a gutter off, the odds are a lot of times the fascia is rotted. So now you're upselling the fascia, and then you're upselling new metal in the fascia so it doesn't rot again. So there's a lot of upselling when it's needed.
Yeah.
And if you find something, the last thing I want to do is put something back together wrong and
Yeah.
have it fall down. Or so, I would always go to the jobs and be on the jobs. And once you're on a block, a lot of neighbors started hitting you, and it just
True.
kind of snowballs from there.
Sure. And then what do you like as that business is progressing? Is the plan, and it's funny, like I know a lot of guys, a lot of tradesmen that'll start out and they'll do the work themselves, and then the goal is to eventually do none of the work, right?
Yeah.
Like do physically. Is that more from the perspective of just lasting longer physically, or is it make do you make more money by just selling it more and doing less?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. There's still
Yeah.
guys that I know that it's just them and a helper, and they do all the work themselves, and they prefer to do that. And there's
Mm.
nothing wrong with that. They'll still make a good living. I mean,
You're
there's
by the way, you're blowing up in the top. You probably just don't see it. I got
oh
Arlene.
hey,
Arlene is Arlene your wife?
yes, yeah,
All right. So Arlene says hello, and then Yossi.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my nephew. Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right. Cool. All right. Is that?
So yeah,
But All right. Cool. So things are going well. You're in your mid 20s, late 20s at that point.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Things. And then how many trucks you have? Like how many people you got? Like what? Give me all that stuff.
I mean, right now I have 5 trucks.
Nice.
But I've kind of changed my angle and what I'm doing, and so
Mm,
I've been doing a lot more flips and rehabs.
mm,
Still taking referral jobs, but I've kind of downsized a little bit. So I got 6 guys that work. I have my office manager that's always at my office, kind of runs that part of it, and yeah, and then I have different subs that I work with that I trust, and I know when I put them on a job, it's going to be done the way I want it, and yeah, it keeps everything going.
So that's is that rock? What's that business called? Is that Rocco Construction? What's that called?
Tim Rocco and Daughters General Construction. It's still
Okay.
Platinum Gutters. I've
Uh-huh.
had the same corporation, but DBA. Tim Rocco and Daughters General Construction
Got, and that business has been around for how long now?
since 2005.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
You're going on 20 years.
yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's dope. Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, time flies right before your eyes.
That's crazy. So, all right. So let's get more into the fun stuff. So the flips. So and I want to hear the story, not from a real estate, because we're going to talk about you're an agent and you got into that stuff,
Yeah.
but talk about flips. Like for people that have never flipped or don't know flips, or I just want your take on the whole game. Like, how do you do them? How'd you get into it? How'd you get with the financing? How do you do all that? Give me the whole rundown.
So, oddly enough, the first property that I bought was the duplex, and I got a great deal on it.
Mm,
And my father-in-law was an electrician by trade, but
mm,
very knowledgeable in plumbing and just a handy person. And
mm,
so he helped me put together the duplex. He taught me plumbing, and I did electrical. And my uncle was a carpenter, and he did doors, windows, tile. So just from learning from them, and my father-in-law helped me do the first one, it's kind of how my business evolved, because we did the duplex, we lived in it, I rented the upstairs out, and I bought a house on Oakmont Street that I was saying earlier.
mm.
And that was really like the first flip that I did, because I bought it, and I was, what's up, Mark? How you doing, buddy? But it was the first I wasn't doing it as a flip. I was doing it beautiful because I was like, we'll move out of the duplex, we'll rent the duplex, we'll live in this house. But before I even finished yeah, beautiful headphones. But but before I even finished, somebody wanted to buy it. So I sold it for a great number, made a profit. And that's why when we moved up to Holland. So as we're there, I ended up selling the duplex. And then from there, deals would come up. People would come to me with deals and I would grab them. I did a
And when you
few.
say deals, were you just picking up whatever made sense? Did you have like a strategy to it?
Well, like the second one I bought, my mother-in-law met somebody at, I don't know if it was a nursing home or whatever it was, but I ended up buying it from her and I think I paid like, I don't know, 55,000 for it back then.
Unreal, dude.
Yeah, the
Unreal.
numbers were crazy. And
Yeah.
so I had a few realtors that would help me and who are still in the business and I still talk to.
Mm.
Um, but some I would find on the street and, I would just, get it done.
Now, were you picky about the types of properties, or if it just made sense, you did it?
I mean, I think that's the best thing about real estate, especially being in the construction business. You can look at the property,
Mm.
you can analyze what it's going to cost, and the numbers work. As long as the numbers work, you move forward. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like stocks where you're putting it in and hoping it goes up or it may go down, or crypto, which, to me, real estate has always been kind of a sure thing.
Hmm. And I mean, when you say it like, well, obviously you have a certain skill set and knowledge that not everyone does. I mean, let's be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I have some properties, but I couldn't look at a property and tell you what it's going to cost to fix because this day and age, who the hell knows? And
Yeah.
there are things you'll see that I don't. But I mean, I guess that the fact that you have that makes you. I mean, literally, you could look at anything and make a deal out of it, right?
Yeah,
And I,
I mean, listen, I want I think I did 4 or 5 in Manayunk over the years,
uh,
and literally the third floor was in the first floor, it was falling through,
wow,
and, we bought it from the church because the guy literally threw the keys to the church and left, and, so we got a great deal on that house, and I rebuilt it. I mean,
yeah,
that's the coolest part. I don't care if it's structural because we do structural work. I work with
mm,
engineers, I work with architects, so none of that scares me.
mm,
I don't want the ones that are, the easy ones because anybody can buy them and do them.
right,
Give me the house that was on fire.
right.
I'm fine with that. I'll tear it apart and I'll put it back together.
Yeah, well, that's what makes you unique because every, Tom, Dick, and Harry who wants to get into real estate investing, they'll make those mistakes and it'll burn them. And if you get burned bad enough, you're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
look, I think a big part of it is having the right people around you as well, because
yeah,
you can't do it all yourself. And having those mentors and different people that you can go to. And I've always, I don't know, was pulling to older people. And I have friends that are you know in their 60s and 70s now that I've known since I was like 16, and when they would talk I would listen. And I think that's a major problem. People tend to talk too much and not listen and take in the good. There's so much good that you can get from people that have lived,
mm, mm,
whether
yeah,
that's you, another broker. I mean, we all have information to give, and once in a while you run into those people and you'll ask them a question and they're like, oh, I can't tell you that. I mean, like they're afraid you're going to steal their work or something, or but I always say there's enough for everybody.
yeah. It's true, man. It's true. It's funny. You're very cool about everything. You're less like, yeah, whatever. It's good. It's good. It's a good way to be. I wish I were that way. I'm a high strung Jewish guy with a lot of anxiety. So
Well, I used to, look, I dealt with my bouts of anxiety, and I used to be a little, hotter, but I don't know.
yeah.
You learn, I think jujitsu helped me a lot.
Ah, are you into that?
Yeah, yeah. I used to have a gym in Richboro. I'm a black belt. I did it
Oh.
for a long time, but
Oh, yeah.
it definitely everybody loves your headphones, man. They just
Thank
love
you,
'em.
Ken. I appreciate it. They're just all making fun of me, haters. That's
I
because
think
I
Ken's jealous. Give him a sandwich. He'll shut up.
Oh my god, that guy. He can eat, can he?
Yeah, it
That's
seems that way.
there's no limit. And the said
Yeah,
he puts no weight on because he's so freaking tall.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so how long have you been training?
man, I want to say same thing, early 2000s. Missed some time, went back, and I got my black belt in 2019. I had a gym in Richboro. I ended up selling it during the pandemic. Everybody was afraid to train at the time, and
Yeah.
just went a different way.
That's pretty cool, man. I did my little stint, not gonna lie. I lived in when I lived in the Center City, South Philly area. I went to a Gracie gym, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go check this out. So I'm always been heavier, and I'm sure you know it's all weight based. So the only guy that was my weight was a purple belt,
Yeah,
and I was a nothing belt,
yeah,
right? So every night I would go there, and I literally would come home and I got the shit beat out of me, bro.
yeah.
Like the shit. One time, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try a headlock. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go right in, right?
Headlock.
And it did it. I actually did. I had him tap out because I was good at it. That's the only thing I was good at was a
Yeah,
headlock. My problem is that pissed him off so much. I literally awoke the like it was a bull, dude. Like he got so mad at me after that. He was taking it easy on me. I figured it out. He was
yeah.
taking it easy. Those guys are so ridiculous. I mean, insane. I have so much respect for
Listen,
jujitsu.
jujitsu can be very, very humbling.
Woo!
We've had, especially when I had the gym, and I think when you're an upper belt, you tend to have a target on you, and we'd have people come in and out of state, and they would try to bully everybody, and then you just have to give it to them, and then they're like, "Oh shit!" But but there's always someone bigger and tougher, and
Yeah.
I competed for a while, and
Oh, you're like legit, dude.
it was good. I
Oh
love it.
wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
the one thing I miss about having my own gym was really like teaching my daughters and my kid. And my daughter would compete, and she was like choking people out, and
Oh wow.
it brings tears to your eyes when you watch her choke somebody.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
She just
literally. Yeah,
Hey, listen, it's a hell of a thing to teach kids, especially, so they can defend themselves too,
yeah, absolutely.
That's cool, man. No, I dig that. That's what's good when it comes to jujitsu, what I like about it, it's just super disciplined. It's just a very, very it's a heady too. Like
Yeah.
people underestimate it's thinking on the fly, like knowing how to move your body
Not so much
and
even thinking it.
yeah,
The more you do it, it becomes muscle memory. It's like your body just does it. You just
yeah.
know what to do. It's like you don't have to think. It becomes like second nature, and that's time, and that's why you don't get a black belt in 2 years. It takes 8 to 12, 13 years. And sometimes longer because people tend to go in and out of it. It's pretty hard on the body. They call it the gentle art, but
Yeah, man.
my back would say otherwise.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100. My entire body would say otherwise.
Yeah, yeah.
So wait, talk to me. I gotta take a quick aside. Tell me about the tats, bro. I know you're a tatted up dude. Tell me about that.
I got a few, like
Yeah,
one
like
big one that goes everywhere.
now, what was that? Was it? It's just a collection over the years. Do you have any strategy to it, or
Yeah, I mean,
I've
you
got
know,
tats by the way, so don't worry. I got it.
no, it's all good. Like this arm tend to be like Philly based. I got the hand of God, the Jewish star,
Yeah.
some Philly things, and all of my kids' names, and Blaze's names up here.
Oh
My
wow.
son.
All right.
So I mean, I always try to make sure they have meaning. You
Hmm.
know, But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
Do you? Is there one artist?
No, it was few throughout,
Mhm.
that I used to go to, and you know,
Did you get any tattoo eddies off South? Because I got a few there.
yeah, I actually did. Yeah, he did I think one of my first tattoos, but yeah,
That was my first four actually.
yeah, I think everybody went there. Yeah,
Tattoo eddies, a cheesesteak and a tattoo. Yeah.
yeah, you can't beat that.
Oh man, that's funny. All right, so real estate. I gotta hear this. So you've been flipping, you've been doing the construction. We're going to be talking about the team you joined. I don't know if that was the first team, but they're the most. What a crew! What a crew! I can't wait to talk about that. But tell me how you got into the retail side of this.
Oddly enough, it's I decided, I'm just going to get the license, for myself. I'm just going to do my flips, and you know
Who were you
Literally.
using? Who were you using before that? Was doing your flips? Was there a guy, different guys that we find you the deals, or did
No,
you have one agent?
I did a lot with Marco Orhowski. He's at Caldwell at
Uh,
Redline and what's that? Huntington Philmont.
okay.
No, Pine.
Yep. Yep.
No, Philmont. Right? It turns into Philmont there. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
think where the office is.
And
Yeah.
he's still there, and he grew up with my uncle, and
Mm,
so I had known him since I was younger, and I forget how we connected again, and he just was finding me properties, and he took care of me and mentored me. He was very successful in business before he became an agent,
mm.
and and he's a great agent, and sometimes we call each other, we go out to lunch, and you know a lot of good information there.
The good agents are always willing to help, man. Right?
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody calls me. I don't care who they're with. If they call me,
Yeah.
hey, I have a question, I answer it. I'll help them out. Again, I think everybody should help each other, no matter what business you're in. Construction. I have people that are in different businesses that call me for advice. We'll talk, and I think that's how we all grow.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if somebody is kind of a dick about it and they're like, oh, I don't want to associate with them. They're not my peoples.
Do you do a lot on the retail side? Do you work with people who want to get into investing? Is that one of your specialties?
Sometimes, I mean, it depends. I mean, you obviously this market it's not the easiest to find, you know, investment properties. So you really got to work to find them. But yeah, I mean, I help people, and if they need help on the construction side, or I've had clients that I've went to their house for an estimate. They wanted to do a second floor. After discussing it with them and going over the numbers, I said, I think you should sell the house and we should find you something. And
Mm,
sure enough, I found them a house, and it needed to be remodeled. So they got a great deal on it. They paid, 350 for it. We put and went and did a kitchen and paint and bathrooms and did the whole thing. And, now the house is worth like 7. So they have
mm,
instant equity. And then I put their house up and I ended up selling it to one of my other clients.
mm,
So it's just, again, it's always asking the right questions. I've had people call me for elevators because we do a lot of handicap prep work, and we work
mm.
with a mobility company. And I said, where's the house at? They said, oh, we're looking, but we don't like our agent. She keeps showing us like places with all these steps and fourth floor condo units. And I said, well, if you need an agent, I'm here. I said, you're working with somebody. And sure enough, they terminated that
It
agent.
sounds like the car salesman that was showing them the cars they can't afford, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I think listening is huge. You got to understand what people want. And, I ended up selling them a house, sold one of their houses. And so whether you're calling the construction side or, I'm always going to ask the questions and get all of the information and make sure that you make an educated decision on what you do, because, I could easily have sold them at the addition and said it was the way to go, but it didn't make sense for them to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, and that's an important lesson, man. Like focusing on what they want and help them as opposed to selling them on the shit they don't. Because it's a long term. You say it's a long game. You say that all the time. It's not you getting your commission now. It's the long game. And if you think that way, it reaps its rewards. If you don't, you don't last very long.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
never sell somebody they don't need, and I'll tell them and always be honest. And maybe you're not going to get every job, you're not going to get every sale.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so go ahead. So let's you get the license, then what? I got come on, you know where I'm getting at with this. How'd you get on that circus? What do you,
All right. So I get the license, and one of my close
by
friends.
the way, I have to call this out. I'm gonna let you go. But you worked for two of the most well known between Bograd and Barbera. I mean, come on, bro. Like two of the best marketers there are. But anyway, go ahead.
So I get the license, and I'm like, where am I to go? I call one of my friends. Their mom worked in Doylestown, and trying to think of the name. I always forget, but she had a team, so I talked to her, and she's like, "You can come on my team. That's fine." We worked out the numbers, and then kind of COVID hit, And so we were kind of dealing with that. And then she tells me that she's leaving and going to, the red side. And, so she goes, "Why don't you come over and talk to the guy?" I went, and, I didn't, care for what he was selling. And I talked to Rick,
They
who,
call it Kool-Aid, brother.
yeah,
Kool-Aid.
yeah. Listen, to each his own. What works for somebody
Hey,
else,
let me tell you, I got a lot of good friends and a lot of good realtors that work for the red
absolutely.
side, and I
Yeah, to
got
each his
yeah,
own. Everybody,
yeah,
there's a different cup of tea for everybody. But
absolutely.
yeah, so then I ended up talking to Rick, who's, with me at Rock House, and he was with Homestar. And he's like, "Come over to Homestar." So I did, and Homestar was great. Jerry's great. And was doing well over there. And I know Anthony DeChico. We're talking, and he's like, "Why don't you come over? Why don't you have a meeting?" And so I decided to, and I sat down with Joe, and we went to Steam and had a good conversation. And after talking to him, I decided to
You
go
did a
on.
you did a shirtless photo shoot in the office.
No, that was
That's
that was
very
that was
good.
private. That was private. Nobody knows about that. Come on.
Oh my god. It's so funny how Loretta lines up these beefcakes, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. She's relentless. That's for sure.
All right, so you go over to Bograd, and this is the fun stuff, by the way. This is why people watch my show. They forget the boring shit, right? So
Yeah.
you're Bograd. What? Give me, without any. It's completely positive. What's it like being in this atmosphere? Give us the rundown for people that don't know.
Uh, I mean, look, you're doing the same thing you're doing anywhere else. You're
Yeah.
you're you're selling real estate. Um, you
Is it
know,
nuts? Is it nuts in there? Like, is it loud? Like, is it crazy as we were
I
seeing
mean, the
it from the
meetings were comical and funny. It was like
Did you see
10%.
did you see his ice bath video, by the way?
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's all the rage. Everybody's doing it now.
Yeah.
I'll stick with my hot shower.
Oh, man.
But
So
no,
you
I mean, look, there's great people in the team. I have respect for everybody.
Yeah,
And you know, it was a good time. I was there a year, but it just didn't make sense for me.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
And at that po was it after that you decided to go solo? Were you solo after that or no?
No, at that point, I didn't have my broker's license yet,
Ah,
and so I was in talks with Prime Realty Partners, who my Jersey
mhm,
license is still with.
mhm,
And Mark was a great guy, and we talked about putting a Prime in Bucks County, so we put
mm,
it at my office, on Bristol Road, and that's kind of what I did. And it was good, but you know, it just wasn't for me.
mhm,
And once I started doing the broker's license, I just had this plan of things I wanted to do. And I just kind of put it into play, and who I really wanted to come with me, and who I wanted, by my side, and just kind of executed it.
Well, it seems like that's a pattern with you. I think it seems like once you finally get your grips into it and you feel good about it, you go and do your own thing, which is good. I mean, listen, bro, I'm all for that. No one even. It's funny. I've been lending for a while now. No one knows who I work for.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I've
get.
never I've never been afraid to do anything. I mean, I left out when I was at the dealership. I ended up opening up. I think I had five cell phone stores at one time. And
Wow.
it's
See,
just,
dude, you're holding out on me, bro. I
I
mean, come
listen, I forget a
on.
lot, man. Ask my family. My memory's terrible. But I've never been afraid to take a chance, and if it makes sense, I go for it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's the point. The point of this podcast and the point of me doing this, honestly, is that I really I like to highlight people that have success for a variety of reasons, and not understanding these things and understanding your story is what makes it a huge, huge thing. All right, cool. So tell me about Rock House. What's the philosophy? What's the culture? What do you want to do with it? And by the way, the name is so dope, dude. When I heard Rock House, I immediately thought of like a record company. I was like, that's
It's
yeah.
funny. You never.
Oh,
I was
did Chico
talking.
give you a shout out, by the way, up
What's up,
top?
man? How you doing, buddy? But it's it's funny because when I was going over it with my attorney, and he's like, "Are you sure you want to use that name?" He's like, "It sounds like Rockefeller Records or something," and I'm like. And he at first I was like, man, maybe he's right. And I'm going back and forth. And I come home, I'm talking to my wife and my kids, and they're like, no, that fucking name is awesome.
It's awesome.
And
It's
I'm
awesome.
like, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, you're right. And then so when I'm talking to him again, he's like, so what are you gonna? I'm like, dude, I'm sticking with it, man. It just
Yeah.
I don't know. I love it. It's it's a strong name, I think. And
I love it, dude. I think it's
yeah,
dope.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My thought was being at and it was short lived, but being at basically three different brokerages, one major team. I knew what I hated and I knew what I wanted to do.
Mm.
And so I just have this agent first, kind of philosophy. I built a whole branding library for them. So, agents come in and they already have the branding done.
Mhm.
It's try to make it as easy as possible for them. We put the software out there for them. So they have the technology they need to be successful. And, you know, I'm sure you've seen some of my videos, but I literally will answer the phone no matter where I'm at if you have a question. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about getting the deal done and making sure that it's done right.
Mm.
I think that's a major problem. Every broker's like, I'm there if you need anything. And then you call them and they get back to you in 24 hours. Well, what good is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just doesn't
100%.
work.
That's cool. So what's the goal? Is there a goal growth expansion wise and all that? Like, where's your head at with it?
Yeah. I mean, right now, obviously, we're working on growing and selling and, uh, waiting. I want to get my Jersey broker's license and put a brokerage in New Jersey, and probably from there I'm thinking my goal is to get to Florida. So
Nice.
I think it's good to set goals, and I think 2024 my plan is to have a brokerage in Jersey by the end of the year. But we'll see how it all goes.
It's cool, man. The one thing I love between like you, like Mark and Volcon, and you and Ed Rogers, I love seeing these smaller boutique guys, that are literally said to themselves, we're sick of the way things have been done. We want to do it ourselves, do it with our own flavor, and you guys are like killing it. And it's not even talking about like it's just the number of people following because they know it's out there. It's refreshing. It's cool to see, man.
Well,
It's really cool to see.
I think in this day and age and with the technology everybody has, I think 20, 30 years ago it mattered, if you were at Remax or you were at some of these bigger names, but that's not the case anymore. It's about you.
Yeah.
People are using you for you. They're not like, oh, well, he's here. So, and I think that's what's so great at this point. And I love what Ed and Mark and Volcan are doing. I mean,
Yeah.
I love to see it. And, I celebrate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's pretty cool. Well, listen, I appreciate the time. I wish you I wish you a ton of success. I'm enjoying watching your ride. Rock House is cool as shit, dude. So
I
Rock
appreciate
House
it.
is
Yeah.
it rockhouse.com? Is that how people get a hold of you?
Correct. Rockhouse.com.
Dude,
Yep.
it's awesome. It's awesome. It's such a cool name. I feel like Jay-Z. It's like the Jay-Z of real estate. Is that what you feel
I,
like?
I personally, I love the name, and yeah, I mean, I just want to see it grow and see more and more signs out there. I love it.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, I hope everyone, if you need anything, give this guy a shout. I mean, he seriously knows what he's doing. Tim, it was a pleasure. I look forward to having you on some future shows, my man.
All right, sounds good, buddy. It was great talking to you, and I appreciate you. You get me on. I know I wasn't the easiest to pin down to a time, but
Listen, man, I'm relentless, bro. Even though I
yeah,
got my headphones, I'm relentless.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But I appreciate it. It was great talking to you, and yeah, we'll do it again.
All right, brother. Rockhouse.com, everyone. Check them out. Everyone, thank you for watching another edition of the Superstars Podcast. You can catch the replay on our YouTube channel at superstarspodcast.com. See you next time. Whoosh.